right before How Is Tropical came out, Rayhaan's Pacific Aura. Let's talk about it. What's going on, guys? My name is Neeb. Welcome back to AROMATIX. Reporting to you again live from here in Dubai with a beautiful view behind me and that little building right there. So today we're going to be talking about the latest release from Rayhaan. It's been quite some time since I've actually talked about one on its own, and it's because this one is very much so, in my opinion, worthy. So the newest bottle looks like so, and the packaging is pretty much identical, but the color gradient is a little bit different. The bottle in itself has come a long way from where it used to be once upon a time, and the last time I think I talked about it was Pacific, the original, and Imperial, which I personally loved. Now, since then, a lot of fragrances have come out, and since then, there have been a lot of improvements to the Rayhaan fragrances as well. This very strong magnetic cap, along with this semi-pressurized, I would say, atomizer. Let's see if we can get that. Yes. Okay, so this scent profile, very appropriately named Pacific Aura, is inspired by Pacific Chill. You guys already know we did the Clone War, and I don't think I'm going to redo it. I'm just going to follow it up with this video right here. And there's a couple of reasons why. Number one, this is being talked about like fucking crazy all over TikTok and short platforms. And I can understand why people are starting to like question it. It's like, holy shit, like this guy's talking about it, that guy's talking about it, this guy, like what is even the deal? So let's just talk about what this actually smells like. Let me keep aside some biases and just tell you objectively what it smells like. This fragrance is inspired by Pacific Chill, okay? And the fragrance in itself has the same exact notes, so they claim. The notes of which include citron, mint, orange. I'm not gonna act like I can smell every single note, and anybody who tells you it's bullshit. But in fact, what I get with this, rather than just reading all of these off, because you can do that yourself, is this juicy water that's fruit infused. Yes, I get apricot. I personally have been trained to smell a lot of these notes on their own, and I can say that I smell most of, if not all of these notes. And what I personally get that's very distinct to Pacific Chill is going to be a few things. Number one, the mint. Number two, the sweet flavor of what the water might smell like, and also the apricot. There's almost this fuzzy-like texture that you'll quite literally smell in Pacific Chill. This fragrance in itself captures pretty much all of those and the identity of Pacific Chill, except there's a couple of differences. Yes, absolutely. This fragrance right here is concentrated at an eau de parfum concentration, and it smells a little bit different because of that. Let me explain. Pacific Chill in itself is probably no more than about 20% concentration, and maybe even less than that, and it also comes with a $400 price tag if you want to get the big boy like I did. This is around $39.99, and it's absolutely more concentrated. You can smell it, you can see it if you're, have some experience with the oils and shaking it, and you can pretty much see how much oil concentration there is. And how you can smell it is in the differences of the ingredients. Obviously, it's the differences of the ingredients is also going to be the cost, but one of the main distinctive differences for this one is going to be the fact that the green nuances and the aspects of this fragrance is a little bit more emphasized because of the concentration. So notes like the spice of coriander, the basil, the mint is a little bit more increased in this, ending up or resulting in a thicker style of Pacific Chill, something a little greener, if you will. Now, does that mean that this isn't the closest clone? Actually, yeah, it means exactly that. But one of the main differences with this one in comparison to a lot of the other Pacific Chill inspos that I even personally love and like is the potency. This shit is one of the strongest Pacific Chill clones to date. There was one fragrance by Curated Perfumes which unfortunately flopped a little bit, and I had no problem retracting it and even deleting the video because of the fact that that fragrance was supposed to be Pacific Chill. They then sold a bunch of bottles that had a different fragrance in it, and you get the idea. But since then, the closest Pacific Chill inspo wasn't necessarily the strongest, right? Until this. This is to date the strongest inspo. However, it's not the closest. Now, it really depends on what you quantify as the best dupe. Is the best dupe to you the closest? Is it the strongest? Is it a little balance in between both? For me personally, there is a little bit, or there's this fine line in between where I can compromise. Like, okay, if it's like 10% off, 15% off, but it's much, much stronger, it's worth the compromise. And that's kind of how I feel about this one. So to date, is it the closest? No. How close? I'd say like 86%, 87%. And it's because of the spice and the coriander and the mint, like I said, giving it a bit more of a green aspect but it's more than likely because of course, obviously, it's not going to be the same quality, but I mean, you could argue and say that it smells like it. To the average nose, bro, like it has that juicy watermelon-y, melony vibe and effect. And I personally believe that to the average nose, they would not be able to discern or tell you that this is less than $100 worth at all. I mean, by the way, Pacific Chill doesn't smell expensive at all either. I wouldn't say more than $100 for that too. But aside from the fact, it's going to be the increased concentration or what smells like increased green notes. That's pretty much it. So up until now, I've given you an objective review, okay? 0 opinions on this fragrance right here. To end this video, I'll give you my opinions, but that's how we're gonna end the video. So is it the closest? No. Percentage, 85% at best, 86, 87%. How long does it last? This is by far the longest lasting. The first 2 hours, crazy. Total longevity on clothing, I would say a solid 8 to 9 hours, no problem. So the longest lasting? Yes. The closest? No. But which one is the best? Now into the objective. The Clone War winner was Pinus White. It's a great fragrance. It's still the closest fragrance dupe, in my opinion, to Pacific Chill. But it doesn't have the same concentration or performance as this. And that's me keeping it 100% honest, as always. So it depends. There are 3 categories in which you can make your decision on. A, do you want the closest? You know where to go. B, does the compromise for scent and performance align with you? You also know where to go. And C, is it just performance? You also know where to go. For me, I'm not gonna lie, man. I'd probably pick this right here. In all honesty, you guys, I personally like this one of the most, and that's why I took the time out to make this video. Pacific Aura has to be my favorite inspo of Pacific Chill. Is it the closest? Again, no, but for me, it's my favorite one. I have them both. I'd buy them again, but this is definitely worthy of the video. So let me know down in the comment section what you guys think. I know the reality of where we live in today. Everything I review, everything I say is straight from the bottom of my heart and never anything more. If I feel it, I let it be known. And this, I felt it, man. Definitely. While you're down there, make sure to leave a like, hit that subscribe button, and I'll see you in the next one.